Okay, so here we are again. My name is Peter.
I'm Lori.
I'm Hamilton.
And we're here to introduce or to review
Ad Astra.
Ad Astra.
This is the Heroes Character Rental Service Ad Astra review. And Ad Astra is a sci-fi movie starring Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones, and Donald Sutherland was in this as well.
Yes, he was. That was a surprise. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know. That was a pleasant surprise because I usually like him a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Although,
yeah.
Let's get into the movie. So, anybody want to start, Hamilton?
A brief synopsis.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a film of in the near future, I guess. It's not too far into the future, but it's an astronaut played by Brad Pitt, and he's been given a special mission to, I guess, to find his father.
Correct. We'll talk about.
Yeah.
There's a whole the Find Your Father.
That's the basic
whole story of it.
The whole Find Your Father story arc. That's what do they call it? I can't think of the mythological thing. Anyway, so quite literal. So his father's played by Tommy Lee Jones, who was also an astronaut who went on a special mission.
Years,
decades earlier.
Yes.
So he's been missing from Brad Pitt's life for the majority of his life.
Right.
So, and that's the story of him. They recruit Brad Pitt to try to contact his father because something has gone wrong with that original mission that his father has been on for decades. So,
well, now, just have to say it out front. I ended up not caring for this movie at all.
You know, it's funny, Peter, because when we all left out, we were all kind of like, yeah, it wasn't horrible, but, I agree. It's not, looking back on it, it's not my favorite movie of the year.
For me going in, my question was, is this going to be a 2001 type of sci-fi movie, or is it going to be a Star Wars, more action-packed, fantasy sci-fi
It was
type
like
where
somewhere in between, right?
It was. You made a good point. You said it was Apocalypse Now in space.
Yeah.
Kind of. I thought that was a really good, but not as good as Apocalypse Now, although I know this has gotten some rave reviews from some people, from some reviewers. So, but go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I gotta say I was excited with the idea of a space movie. I love these type of films normally.
And the visuals in the trailers were amazing, like the effects of it. And I was like, oh, I want to see this.
Right.
Whichever way it was going.
I was personally happy that it wasn't like a full-on Interstellar type story where he's just, it's getting into the theories behind space travel. It was more like a straightforward kind of action movie with a desire to be, I guess, a serious sci-fi movie to some extent.
Yeah. It was kind of tried to be a serious sci-fi movie with some action scenes sprinkled in.
Yeah.
Just enough. Tried to sprinkle in just enough action scenes to kind of keep you and get that audience engaged.
Exactly. It tried to be a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, it was like,
this serious thing about fathers and sons, kind of like this psychological kind of examination of that dynamic. I thought it tried to be, but.
Yeah, I think, for me, this movie tried to be a lot of things.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
tried to be.
Okay.
I agree.
It never became anything.
I totally agree. I can't help. I don't want to give away spoilers, but there's a scene when he's on the moon and that whole scene with the pirates. I can't get away from that. It's just it's hokey and it's like it kind of killed it for
cool,
me.
But
it was just like, what the heck?
But it didn't make sense.
This whole scenario.
Well, for me, the whole movie didn't make sense because the whole movie said, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, and then we'll put them together, and everybody will love it.
Yeah,
and it's like, so
agree.
they said, with the space
But does it make
pirates,
sense to do this, that?
and it did nothing connected. They just said, let's do a whole bunch of things and then put them together. And the only story arc was Brad Pitt needed to connect with his father.
Yeah.
And then the way they wanted, or the reason that they felt that they needed him and what they were going to do, they didn't have to leave planet Earth.
Yeah, they didn't have to do all this space travel and adventure.
right.
Couldn't they have done that? Well, but one thing I thought of after, because we brought this up before, is his father had been seen as a hero on Earth, so nobody, it was a top secret that really there was something had gone really wrong with that mission.
Right.
So in order to keep that secret from whoever, that this was a very, very top secret meeting that like not many people knew about, that they wanted him to go on.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure that
It's still.
it's fan winking.
I put it this way. We have cell phones now that we can do more and keep secrets with than this movie pretended. Here's the world we live in, and it's in the future.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you can't do this? I can do it right now. You want me to do it?
But in the future, this isn't a possibility.
Yeah. It's like,
I honestly think you guys looking at this film that it really speaks to the bigger problem of just Hollywood coming out with a lot of these bogus sci-fi space travel movies. Like my favorite sci-fi movie in the last few years was Ex Machina.
Ex
Did you guys see
Machina is
that?
good.
Did you see that?
no.
Seen it? Oh,
It's really good because I felt like it didn't have to be in the future and it didn't have to be futuristic. The story really, it was perfect.
Right. It does that thing. It kind of questions lots of things about humanity, like even what is humanity.
And it almost felt like they were, it was a contemporary musing on the world we live in.
Right,
Like what kind of world are we moving towards? And
But you see, any good movie, you can write it without writing the character or the type of person that the character is or what that person does. You can write it and then you can fill that in when you make the movie. So the basic writing of a movie is very good, and then you set it in an era or a place. And you can do that with a cowboy movie, or
I totally agree.
They call
Well,
it
yeah,
shit
that's
kickers.
That's what
What I
I
was
think this
getting
movie
kind of
kind of
archetypes.
failed
Yeah,
in my mind is that
an art movie,
what you said, like
if it was a war movie, a space movie,
I totally agree.
write a good script and then place it someplace.
That was what I found ultimately
To enhance
frustrating about this film, you guys, is it was supposed to be in the near future, so it wasn't like far away, but then it didn't really feel like a future that we, or a time that we kind of recognize. And I wasn't sure what they were saying about the time we live in. Are they saying?
I don't know if they were saying anything. The thing is, I don't know if they were saying anything about the time we live in, or just about relationships between men and fathers and sons.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I just didn't feel like if they were going to go that 2001 direction, I just didn't have the energy or enthusiasm to engage with it on that level.
Right.
By the end of the movie, and.
The beginning scene, you guys, when he was up on this huge tower, he's there's a scene where he's climbing down this tower that's been built that goes all the way into space. It's like a space elevator type structure or something.
Yeah,
I don't. Antenna.
It's an antenna.
Thank you.
It is,
But they never really talked about why.
It was just
what
like
was
a
the point of
background
that?
prop.
Yeah.
It was just
okay. That looks. It was
Exactly.
a lot of that looks cool, but what's the point of it?
Exactly.
Right.
There's a lot of that in this film. They don't explain the world that you're looking at,
that's true.
It's just a lot of stuff becomes background to the action sequence that he's about to engage in or whatever.
Yeah, because there was one thing that happened, and that Laurie had thought, and I kind of thought it was, but it seemed kind of cool. And spoiler, the space pirates.
Oh, I kind of would like maybe a movie about space pirates on the moon was sounding kind of good.
That could have been its own movie, right? That should have been its own movie.
Right.
But exactly.
It's like,
But that was just
But-
one
Okay,
action
to
sequence.
get to
of
the
several.
moon, you have to do this, this, and this.
It's like it's showing all these so-called these
And it's
supposed
like,
dangers of space travel that I guess like if you go to the
He
moon.
was like, once that was done, okay.
Yeah, there's a scene
There's-
later. He's there. He's going to an abandoned space
Was it space station or something?
Yeah, and there's a monkey. He gets attacked by a
Oh,
monkey.
right.
It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
another action sequence. It doesn't
It-
really progress the story.
He's like, wouldn't it be cool
Yeah.
if he was attacked by a monkey?
Yeah, it's like, who is sitting down going, I got a cool idea?
Yeah.
Okay, but why?
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say I think it felt like a Hollywood popcorn movie, and it had very light pretensions of being a space travel movie, a serious space travel movie.
I was
You know?
wondering, and I haven't looked it up to see if this movie was based on a book.
Yeah,
Because
I have no idea.
it wanted to be, just put
No.
it, you know, it wanted to have that
Yeah.
feel, but like, cause these things were so disjointed and didn't make
Yes.
sense to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
like,
almost
if it was a
like
book, that would have been all explained out.
It
but
came
it
from
didn't.
a book, and they couldn't
Yeah.
say everything.
They couldn't,
that
you know,
connected everything.
Right, right. They like missed the points that connected one thing
Yeah.
to the next that
Mhm.
like you would have gotten from a book or gotten
you
from
know
a book
what?
adaptation.
I do think that this is probably one of the greatest movies in history. All we have to do is go to the editing room and pick up
Find all the stuff
that
they left.
movie.
I don't know about that, Peter. That's a bold statement. Come on. It's greater
Because,
than what,
yeah,
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh,
I don't
everything that's
know.
on the floor, yes.
Because that. Hey, Euless.
That's okay.
We get back to the
Back to the movie.
review. I'm
review.
sorry. No, I mean that's exactly what the problem is with this film. It's like you said, they left out all the most essential
Things to kind of connect the
storytelling
dots
elements.
and like lead
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And you just get these random like sequences where the same character keeps being confronted with crazy life-threatening circumstances, but
Yeah.
it doesn't progress the story. It doesn't
See,
really help
I
you
think
understand
Brad Pitt
his dilemma.
is a great actor.
Oh, great performance by him. In this.
But they kept showing him breathing.
Wow.
I'm like,
Well, you
like,
know,
that's
in-
what I'm saying.
in
That's
space,
you're
it's a
supposed to get
vacuum,
like a
so I guess-
contemplative type
Yeah.
of movie. You're supposed to get his
Yeah.
emotional or just his emotional disconnection. But I mean, then let's bring up Tommy Lee Jones. Not enough of him in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not enough Donald Sutherland. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
we're gonna
like,
bring these guys in.
okay, let's put him here. Let's kill him off.
Yeah.
Out. It's like,
I
excuse
think
me? And then Tommy Lee Jones, okay, let's just let him randomly say some stuff. Okay, he's out. Now, you're going to see a movie with Tommy Lee Jones, Brad Pitt, and Donald Sutherland. No, I'm not.
you know, to use the analogy of the apocalypse now in space, I think you could take a lot from that because, I mean, basically, Apocalypse Now is about these people on a boat going up a river,
Right.
and all these things happen to them on the way up. But the story is incredible, and the acting and everything about
Yeah,
that
they
film
could have
is
taken
incredible.
that and just,
But this film-
like you said, there's that one story you could have just put in a different
Yeah.
environment and time.
It's
Yeah.
similar in that regard. It's
Right.
like this man on a journey to to find his father, like several planets far away.
You know, I was just thinking, I think that's probably how they sold the movie. They said,
Probably.
it's
Oh yeah, when you
apocalypse
said
now
that, I
in
was like,
space.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, there you go.
And
Exactly.
they said,
Which sounds crazy.
we'll do it. And they go, okay. And then they said, here you go.
They
give
heard
me money.
Apocalypse Now and they thought, oh wow, it's gonna be
Space,
great,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So-
But
so-
it's literally like the same concept. It's like he goes through all these different sequences, life-threatening sequences, and then he gets to the space station where his dad is, and it's kind of anticlimactic even for me.
And of course,
Personally.
you know, and you kind of, you don't see it coming. I think they disguised it well. But the government was lying to Brad Pitt.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they said, okay, this is as far as you go.
Right.
And then it was like, what?
Right.
Wow. That's kind of a cliche plot point at this now. Oh, the government is lying to our hero. I was like, okay, yeah, that's.
Oh no! Once it happens, yes. But you know what? for me, I didn't see it coming.
You didn't see it coming. But,
Yeah.
Well,
Which I thought was
but
good.
when it pops up, it's like,
Yeah,
it's
well,
not
of course,
so much.
they.
You're not like, anyway.
But
Not that it was
I do
supposed to.
have to say that the space pirate thing,
Where's-
and the
I'm sorry, y'all.
the killer monkeys in space.
Right.
Killer monkeys and space pirates, man.
I now say Trump is a genius. We need a space force.
Oh yeah, well there you go. That maybe it looked like they read the newspaper when the
Space
announcement
Force,
came
yeah.
out for the Space Force, for Trump's Space Force,
Yeah.
and they said we should make a movie about that. What that would look like or something.
To show that it almost seemed like Trump called Hollywood and said, okay,
Maybe
make a movie so that people will go, we need a space force for when this
because there's a lot of
happens."
life-threatening
Those
things in
pirates
space you
on
have
the
to
moon,
deal with.
man.
Yeah,
You gotta deal with
Oh
pirates on
yeah,
the moon.
you know, pirates
You need a
on
Space
the
Force
moon.
for that.
honestly,
You know,
we were
killer
laughing about
monkeys.
it, you guys, but I was like, how do pirates even exist on the moon? It's like how.
Well, they said that many countries had
Right.
had their sections of the moon, so you're gonna have whatever factions from those.
They had like the Somalian.
Yeah,
Somalian space program
man.
has established
Yeah,
base.
they've established.
And then,
the
like,
space
do they
program.
live on a moon base or where do they hang out? I mean, like,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
had a lot
And,
of
and they have all this equipment.
yeah. Do they take the equipment back to Earth or what do they do? How do they make their money?
like factories up there.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Somalian space pirate.
They really got me thinking
Moon rover
on that whole.
factories.
And they had laser guns. It looked like I don't know.
Factory.
This movie doesn't know really what it wants to be. It just wants to be entertainment with
So-
like a shiny gleam, like glossy.
It was, yeah.
Exterior.
I mean, the
you know?
special effects were amazing. They were pretty
Yeah.
damn good.
Whoever did the special
Mm-hmm.
effects on this movie, from the Space Needle Tower doohickey,
You're right. That
to-
was cool.
To
Yeah.
the,
That was
the
a good
moon,
opening.
to the ships,
Mhm.
everything
Mhm.
was just.
Yeah.
They did a remarkable job.
That's true.
Yeah.
They put that thing together. It looked great.
Yeah, the chase scene on the movie.
I think that's why I kind of liked it. I wanted to like it at first because
Yeah.
it looked good. It had a lot. You could tell they put a lot of effort
Uh-huh.
into the design and everything, but it's just the story was too kind of hokey for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the story didn't really do anything.
I didn't, yeah.
Convince
There
me
was
that
a
it was a
story?
real science
There
fiction
was.
movie.
So yeah. I usually I like to hear other people's reviews, especially like professional movie reviewers. But I stay away from them until we do ours. I've listened to one, and he did make that point about he loved the movie, but he did say how like they did do a lot of things that because we have to do this. We'll to get to point A and point B. We'll just make this stuff up, even though it doesn't make sense, and you hope it's good enough that people will kind of ignore it. But. So I'm kind of interested in finding other reviewers because there's been a lot of good reviews for this to see what they're getting out of this that I'm not. So that it's,
I really want to challenge Hollywood and ask Hollywood to make a real space travel movie. Now, I don't mean like it has to be about physics, and I just mean like take the time to think about the world we live in and the relevance of space and space travel in this era. Like, what are the things that you can actually explore in that dynamic? I want to see a movie that inspires me, because we live in. I've said it before. We live in a post science fictional world where a lot of things that were science fiction in the past are. We're almost in an era of like flying cars, and
Well, now be careful. They said that was going to happen some year.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on mine. I think the Jetsons is like now.
that's what I'm saying.
And
We live. I
it
mean, like
happened.
literally, like food preparation in a machine that's gonna, meal comes out in like a
Oh
minute.
yeah, and like a pill.
Yeah, I mean, no, really,
Remember
like
that?
everything's possible in the world we live in
Monsanto at
today.
Disneyland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh.
like
the House of Tomorrow. Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying, I want to see a science fiction movie that is worthy of that title, science fiction. speculative fiction, something that where the person really took the time to think about what is the future going to be like, what are the challenges that we're going to be faced with. You know, I got the impression this was like, it was an action film that kind of, the director wanted to take it in a more serious direction, but you know, it was intended to just be an action film. And
you know, and I guess what I was looking for is more from that, because I did like the original Star Wars. I do like a lot of space stuff or whatever. I'm a huge superhero fan, so you had me.
Me too.
And
I like those kind of films.
now I'm looking at it. I was just like, and I'm sorry that I had to spend some money to go see it.
I wouldn't say that. I'm glad I saw the movie, but it just disappointed me.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, I don't think they even quite met their mark. I think they hit the atmosphere going at the wrong speed, and they just out into space with that one.
I agree. What would you guys? I guess we've already said what we think. But
yeah, I mean, well, I go see it for the visuals. You know, make your own opinion up on it.
See it on Netflix.
Maybe see it on Netflix.
That's
That's probably a good. Good analogy.
It's
I
about
don't
at
know.
that level.
I know. I keep thinking of the movie. Now I can't think of the name of it. Jeez. No, the other one that it reminds me of, the one with Sandra Bullock and George.
Gravity.
Gravity and stuff.
I wouldn't even compare it to Gravity personally.
Which was just a popcorn movie, but at the same time did like metaphorical about her life and stuff like that in terms of space travel. Was more successful in relaying that message than this one was and stuff. So.
I thought Gravity is one of the better science fiction movies I've seen in the last few years. And like you made a comment when we saw it, that it was more like it felt like a short story that they tried to flesh out into a full motion picture. But I mean, it was good for what it was. It was innovative. I mean, it felt like the visuals were coming directly at you on the screen.
I actually did like Gravity. Of course, I thought there was some parts I didn't like not knowing, and I didn't, a lot of times I didn't know when she was just hallucinating.
Well,
but I did like the idea, even though I knew it. It's like, I don't think it could happen like that. But
I mean,
and that was when she left, and as she orbited the Earth, there he was again. You know, about in the same place and stuff. It's like, I don't think that could happen, but that would be cool.
Oh, you mean the George Clooney character?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
she did.
Well,
she did
getting into
that.
any of these being legit
Yeah.
science is like, they're going to be toast if you try to prove the science on any of these movies.
Right.
But not to get into a Gravity review, but this is kind of like, I enjoyed that movie more.
What was that other movie where they had went and they were like at a space station and they were experimenting and something got loose and
that sounds familiar.
and it killed everybody on
Like
Alien?
It's not Alien, but it's something,
It's something like that. Yeah.
There's nothing but Alien, I'm sorry.
And then you know, a ship was coming to Earth, or you know, guy thought he had escaped or whatever, and then it turns out, you know,
That sounds like
Venom?
no, it wasn't Venom.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I'm not sure.
But anyway, I have to find out that movie because I actually worked on that movie.
Oh, okay.
I just don't, because we were given a code name. But anyway, I went to see it, and it was really, and I didn't know it was the movie I had worked on until I saw some of the stuff, and I was going, oh, wait a minute, I did that.
Oh, wow.
Well, anyway, it's once I find out the name, it's a really cool movie. That's a cool one to go see.
This movie
I also
for me
worked on Rampage,
right,
and
wow.
some of that stuff, those blocks or whatever that came. I was like, oh, I didn't know I was working on Rampage.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you know.
And Well, this movie for me just falls short of the mark. But there's a lot of films like this that I've seen over the years that were just. There's a movie. There's a lot of really bad Mars exploration movies. I'm trying to think of this one, but it's just like you think it's a serious film, and then you realize after 30, 40 minutes, it's just absurd action sequences in space. And I think that's what was disappointing for me about this movie. Looking back on it, is it looks good. It looks really good, in fact, when he's walking in space and stuff. But it's nothing like I wouldn't want to read this sci-fi novel.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's like, you know, I was wondering if it was a book, but it wasn't a book I wanted to read.
Yeah,
It just didn't
it
seem
seems
that
really
engaging.
like
So.
for kids almost, you know.
Well, let's wrap this up. Any final words? We gotta. This is a
Final words.
Ad Astra.
For me.
Netflix it.
Yeah, Netflix it,
Netflix.
but only Netflix it if you're
You got a really big
cleaning up your house and you're doing stuff and you have it on for noise in the background. That way you can look up and see a lot of the cool visuals.
Yeah,
it's too bad.
Exactly.
You know, I don't know if it's worth it to go to see it in a big theater. The visuals are, but it's like I'd hate to have to sit through most of this just for that. So.
Right.
So that's Heroes Character Rental Service review of Ad Astra. Are we out?
We're out except for one thing.
What?
Don't go see Rambo First or Last Blood.
Oh,
either.
wow.
Oh my God. Okay.
We out.
We're out.
Yo, I'm sorry. I did all the.